let's also cut across. Sapna Das spoke to Secretary of Finance Ashok Lavasa. So let's listen into that conversation, and then we'll be back with markets and stocks.
Well, as you know that the government had set up the FRBM committee because there was an overwhelming view that we should review the implementation of the FRBM Act and see whether the provisions of the Act, how they meet the requirement of the situation. Now, the committee's report is before us. We have not examined it in detail. And the committee, as the finance minister has already mentioned, did recommend that government should stick to 3%.
Okay.
In 17-18, and then there is a pause for 3 years.
Okay. So basically keep the 3% target for 19, 20 and 21.
That's right. And thereafter they have indicated a glide path which takes you down by about 20 basis points every year.
Okay.
So they have suggested a path which goes on till 2023.
Right.
But without going into that and without taking recourse to some of the escape clauses which the committee has suggested, government felt that the path of fiscal consolidation government is committed to, and therefore we would like to adhere to the path of fiscal consolidation. We would like to be prudent in our borrowings in maintaining our deficit. Having said that, government cannot be oblivious of the development requirements. And therefore all the programs of agriculture sector, allied sectors like dairying, animal husbandry, or the fisheries sector, the rural development sector, all the commitments which government has on improving the health infrastructure in villages, taking forward various schemes that have been approved and announced and approved by the government. Therefore, we felt that we could, instead of going down to 3% instead of 3.5, we will maintain a fiscal deficit of 3.2 and get some additional spending space which we can deploy for these schemes.
How much of space does this open up, sir? 0.2%?
Well, this would about give us 35,000 crores.
35,000 odd crores. So, sir, you lose around 20,000 crores on direct taxes, but those are very welcome. The measures are extremely welcome. And here you have, that means net you have an additional space of around 15,000 odd crores to take care of the development side of the expenditure?
Well, what you see is also that, in terms of the total borrowing, between 3.5 of 16-17 and 3.2 of next year, there is not a great difference. So the total availability of funds as far as borrowing is concerned will not be substantial. But then government has prioritized its expenditure and deployed more money for the development sectors. Also, we should not forget the fact that in 16-17 there was an additional burden of about 70 to 80,000 crores, which by way of seventh pay commission, by way of revision of pensions, etc., which we have absorbed. So hopefully that burden is not there for us next year, and that gives us some redeployment opportunities.
Right, sir. So we also understand that the FRBM committee has recommended a completely new FRBM Act. I suppose that's what you're referring to in terms of the pause for 17-18, and then every year consecutively, pause for 3 years. Same target for FY18 of 3%, a pause for 3 years, and then 20 basis points downward, a compression in the deficit number till 2023. So is this the new FRBM Act that we're talking about very broadly?
These are the recommendations of the committee, and based on the examination of these recommendations, and then a decision will be taken. Accordingly, the FRBM Act will be
amended. Right. But would that be really necessary, or because we already have something in place till FY19?
Well,
I mean the fiscal map, so to speak.
No, apart from just these numbers that you are talking about, there are some more recommendations of the committee which may have, which may be suggesting some institutional arrangements, etc.
For instance, sir?
So, I mean, the way in which the escape clauses, for example, will be utilized, and should there be a committee to fiscal policy committee which will recommend and which has its own areas of responsibilities. So those are various recommendations which have come in, but as I said, we will have to examine these recommendations. We got the report barely a week before the budget, and therefore we will look at those recommendations and take it forward from there.
Okay, for